have you been wondering of late what your soul purpose is? That niggly feeling that may be pushing you in a different direction. Do I stay or do I go? That's really the energy that I'm picking up. And why my spirit guides are just saying, you need to come on here and share some of my own journey, because I have been there. Number one question that I have asked myself from day dot is, what is my soul purpose? Why am I here? How can I really step into that role so that I know that I am living out my soul purpose? That is the number one question that I have always asked myself. So that you may be sitting there in that same situation. You may be at that point of you're starting that journey. You've just finished, say, high school. Or you may be at that point of your life where you can't keep ignoring the niggle. You can't keep ignoring your soul purpose any longer, because it's getting to that point where you're coming up with roadblock after roadblock and you're thinking, hang on a second, why does this feel so sticky? Why does this feel so uncomfortable? Why do I keep getting knocked back when I know that I'm more than qualified for this? Or why do I just feel like I'm literally like in the wrong place, in the wrong job, whatever that is for you? I wanted to jump on here because I have been feeling that sensation. I've been feeling that stickiness of kind of like, you know, that tightness in the chest of, do I stay? Do I go? What is my next move here? I'm being really called to, you know, channel some things and share some of my own journey here when it comes to soul purpose, because I think there's a lot of, you know, conditioning around, can I even change my mind? Is that even a possibility? And that was a lot in my journey as well. So I want to venture back and turn the clock to when I first finished high school. I think there's a lot of conditioning around, okay, you have to choose a pathway. You have to actually know what you want to do for the rest of your life. And that is very, I would say, an old perspective. The age that we live in now is that there is so many different career paths that we can take. There's so many purposes that we can have at a particular time, and it's okay if you want to change. It's okay if you don't have it all figured out from day dot. I know I didn't. I had no idea what I wanted to do. I remember that it was only option was to go to university. The only option for me at that time was you have to choose a university degree. You have to know what you want to do for the rest of your life from that day dot of finishing high school. And you may not be at that point of finishing high school. I'm just explaining like my journey so that it can help you along yours as well, because I feel like there's a lot of resistance, and especially around this time with the eclipse portal, and very much a shift in, you know, an upheaval in, if you are not in the right thing, then you may feel like there is been a bit of a shift happen. We've got the Libra eclipse, and even though this is a timeless reading, and I believe that, you know, we come upon videos in this wonderful space that we need at that particular time. And that is the beautiful thing about YouTube, the beautiful thing about having access to this and being guided to a specific piece of information that you need at that particular moment to have that activation or that shift to say, you know what, I am moving. I am choosing myself. I am choosing that I'm being guided in this particular moment. And I've got guides coming through, and your guides, I'm getting like full body warmth, like someone very warm and caring is coming through right now, and I feel really emotional and full body, like just warmth, for the lack of a better word. So whoever guide is coming through in this moment, it might be several guides because I know that I'm probably talking to a lot of people here, but there's this warming feeling of it's time. It is time to trust yourself on this path and trust that you are being guided at this time. And I think you know what that next step is. I think you know what you're being called to do and move towards. And maybe it's a fresh new beginning. But right now you're at this in-between stage, and I can feel it with that stickiness and that tightness in my chest, is that you're saying, do I stay in this situation that hasn't served me, that hasn't served my highest good? Maybe you have been comfortable, even though it hasn't been exactly what you wanted in your life. It hasn't been that perceived dream life that you've had on your vision boards. And I'm getting that full like warming feeling. It's like you're swallowing a warm cup of tea. So maybe you used to go to this person's house. Maybe it's a passed on relative or a passed on loved one, and you used to go to their house all of the time and, you know, have a cup of tea and have that warming feeling. Or maybe you just got that warming feeling when you were in their presence. But they're coming through right now really strongly with, you know, that next step. You have been guided to this next step, and maybe this wasn't the first video that you've come along that has told you this. Maybe you've been feeling this for quite some time, and that's why it's like that real tightness in the chest. And I have been guided here today to help you with some of my journey that I have been on. Because I wish that I came upon this. I wish that I could have connected with my guides at that point of time. And I wouldn't have gone through this massive journey or stayed in a situation that was no longer serving me. And taking you back to high school, when I had to make that decision of, okay, what degree am I studying here? How am I moving forward? And I chose a specific degree. I think it was, you know, human movements at the time. So I really loved, you know, HPE, which was physical activity, use sports and things like that. So I was like, okay, yes, I'm going to do that. And I studied that for a year. And at the end of the year, or even before that, so I studied that for probably 6 months too long. So I was in that stickiness feeling of that tightness in my chest of saying, this isn't actually what I want to do. This isn't actually for me. And I'm really getting that clear guidance, and I'm hearing that is that sometimes we have to try things before we recognize that they are actually not for us. And it's never a waste of time. It's coming through so strong. It's never a waste of time. We go down these pathways because there is something that we need to gather on our trail. And this is such a key piece of information that I wish I knew earlier, is that to find your soul purpose and to actually step into your soul purpose, we need to collect things along our journey to become the version of ourselves who can actually fully step in and embody when the time is right and step into your soul purpose. And I know that soul purposes can be, your soul purpose can be to be a parent or be a grandparent, I just heard. So this could be a passed on grandparent, a loved one who you had tea with or just gave you that warming feeling. that could be the soul purpose, to then guide other, like your grandchildren. But specifically, who I feel like I'm talking to right now, I'm getting the strong sense that I'm talking to you. If it's specifically career focused, specifically, the soul purpose, like what am I here to do? That's what I'm really getting through. Like, what am I here to do? I know I'm meant for more. And right now I'm in this position that it's just like, okay, this is comfortable. Like, I could have finished that degree. I could have easily said, you know what, I'm going to finish this degree. And I've just lost my little microphone thing. That's okay. The show goes on. And that might actually be a sign that we actually need to let things go and not be so attached to things and not cling on to them, because really we don't need it. It's a little bit of fluff essentially that fits on the end of the mic, and we can just let it go and just let it be part of our story. But we don't need it anymore. At the end of the day, we don't need it. So it's about letting that go. And that's really, synchronicities. So I think there's such a big push, especially, when we're taking advice from older generations and past generations, is that there's this thing that we have to stick it out. Even if you don't like what you're doing, even if it does not light you up, just stick it out, just keep going. Have that grit and determination. And yes, that is great to have that grit and determination, absolutely, to stay on our path and really become the version of ourselves no matter what happens. But when it actually comes to having that stickiness and feeling that tightness in your chest that you do not belong there anymore, that it served your purpose at that particular time, but it's time to move on, it's time to let go. And I'm just being called to have a look under the tarot deck. Yes. Okay, so I've shuffled this and really sat with this tarot deck. And I was just being called to actually look at that underneath the deck. And so I've got the Chariot in reverse. So the Chariot's all about that quick movement of moving forward. But right now with it in reverse, it's like we're feeling stuck. And that's why I was getting that stuck energy. Feeling stuck and not moving forward on your path, even though you know that you need a change, that this is no longer serving you. So like I was mentioning, I could have kept going down that degree. Maybe you are studying a degree at this point of time. You don't have to. But I decided to change my mind and I started studying a different degree. I started studying science teaching. So high school science teaching. And as I realized, I went through and I was like, okay, this is great, this is great, this is great. And what I realized is that I was actually really enjoying the subjects all about nutritional medicine and all about, the science of the human body. And I remember just sitting in those classes and just absorbing all of that information, just being like, yes, this is it. And then I realized and I started to get that tightness in my chest. And I felt stuck. And I felt like I could not move. Again, with that Chariot, I could not move. And no amount of self-discipline was going to keep me pushing me in that direction. So at the end of that year, I actually decided to change my mind again. Can you imagine the resistance that I got at that time to change my mind a second time? It's okay once, right? We're allowed to, fuck up once and change our mind, but a second time? My gosh, who am I? So all of these thoughts started to arise, and you might be in this position where you have already made a change. You have already, on your journey, decided to do something else because you realize, hang on a second, this does not light me up anymore. You've come to another time and you're just like, no, I am feeling the call to move and change again. That's why I'm here, to help you along that journey, to share some wisdom and say that it is okay, that it is okay to change your mind. We are supposed to be doing and following the pathway that lights us up, the pathway that we have been guided to by our higher self, by our intuition. Even if you're thinking right now, hang on a second, I'm not spiritual, I'm not connected to my higher self or my intuition. The thing is, everyone has intuition. Whether you are spiritual or not, that's not a prerequisite to having and being connected to your intuition. Your intuition is always guiding you. Whether you just have to be open to receiving that knowledge and that guidance. And right now, you're in that in-between of, I've already made a decision to change my mind. Can I do it again? I am here reflecting to you that yes, you can. That it is okay to change your mind again. When I changed my mind again and actually moved into what I truly wanted to do in that time, which was study nutritional medicine and become a clinical nutritionist, even though I had the resistance, I chose myself. I decided that I am going to follow my pathway and my soul purpose. I'm not going to continuously do something that no longer lights me up and say, it doesn't matter if it doesn't make me happy. It doesn't matter because I'm going to, at the end, get a really, stable job and live happily ever after. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with doing that. Everyone has free will. And that's the beautiful thing about having a human experience, is that everyone does have free will. Your guides are coming through strong today, and I am just reflecting this back because we are all one. And that is why I've been guided to share this with you. And the universe, source, angels, your spirit guides are guiding you in a new direction and a new beginning. And yeah. Tower moments, like changes, shifts, massive shifts in your life. Like things do need to change. And something needs to be released. Like the microphone just falling down. Again, something needs to be released here. And that shift and that change. So you already know what this is. I have a really strong feeling of that. And you're being asked to release the expectations. Especially, this was a big thing for me on my journey, is that if I change again, if I do this, if I do that, then I'm going to be this age when I finish and I'm going to be so behind. But the thing is, you are never behind. You are exactly where you were meant to be on your journey. You're exactly where you're meant to be. And you are here for a reason. And by changing your mind and by doing all of these different things, that is finding your soul purpose. The biggest thing that I learned on my journey is that A soul purpose isn't just something that you conceptualize of saying, this is my soul purpose and I'm going to do it right now. Because I actually did a soul purpose reading and she actually told me my soul purpose. And this was actually after, I studied, I became a clinical nutritionist. But when I took that soul reading, she told me, this is your soul purpose. The thing with that is that I wasn't ready to answer my soul purpose at that point of time. So you could be searching for your soul purpose for someone to just give you that answer, for someone to say, yep, this is what your soul purpose is. But you may not be ready to receive that information. You may not be ready to actually answer the call of your soul purpose. And when I received that information, I actually wasn't ready to hear that. So it took me another year to actually then answer the call and step into my soul purpose. I needed to go through those experiences to become the version of me who I am. And I truly believe that in the age that we are living in, it's no longer about just sticking to one pathway to the rest of your life and having the discipline and the grit to just do that one thing until your life is over. It's about truly uncovering who you are. And everyone has different layers that they need to peel back. It's like peeling back an onion or a rose to find out in the center who you truly are, what you truly came here to do. And that may be different at different stages of our life, and that is okay. So I want to pull one more card out for you. We have some guidance on some guidance, yes. Okay, Two of Wands. It's really about taking that next step. It's like you were ready. You were ready to take that next step. And I honestly feel like you were close. You were so close. And I think that's why you've come to this video, because like me, you have been through that journey of discovery. You haven't fit in with society's norms of you have to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. And you're at that tipping point right now where it's just like, okay, I'm a little bit exhausted. Like I'm a little bit of like, I'm stuck because I've changed my mind so many times. Can I really do it again? But the Tower's coming in to say, yes, it's necessary for you to do that one last time. And like, you know what to do. You absolutely know what to do. And I can't tell you exact steps because it's going to be different for every single one of you watching this. But it's about taking that first step, because you can see on the Two of Wands that it's like, okay, I've got my map in front of me. I can see that, yeah, there's a few more rocks to walk over. There's a few more, path to uncover. But at the end of that path is the light, is the soul purpose, is the version of you who can actually answer that call as well. Let's take one more card of, let's see if they'll show us, what's on the other side of taking that first step. Taking that next step, what is on the other side? I seriously cannot make this up. You got the Ten of Pentacles. and the King of Pentacles. So, like, everything that you could ever wish for, it's building the legacy. It is stepping into and creating not only wealth for you in this lifetime, but generational wealth. It is about sitting on your throne and getting everything that you have wished for. Because you've probably been on this pathway and this journey for quite some time, and you're thinking, hang on a second, when am I going to catch a break? When am I actually going to get the wealth that I actually truly desire? Because right now you're probably sitting in this space of, I'm just so sick of, changing my mind every year. Like, I was so sick of changing my mind every year and going down a different path and thinking, when is it that I'm going to really be able to step into this role of my soul purpose and help other people through that as well? And that is the point like that you are at. You've got that one last step to take. And honestly, the 10 of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. So if you have been desiring more money, more purpose, more direction, more helping the collective with your gifts, you are ready. You were ready to take that step, because on the other side is this light, and then everything that you wanted in material wealth. Like, I'm going to leave it there because that is just absolutely stunning. And I'm so happy for you and so excited for you. And please pop in the comments what is on the other side of you taking that step that you know that you need to take. What is the journey that unfolds for you? Please come back and share in the comments, because I'm so interested and fascinated, and I'm so excited for you. I cannot wait to see what you truly uncover and what your 10 of Pentacles and your King of Pentacles is for you in your life. So I really hope this helped you to make that shift in your change in your life and have that one last tower moment. Take that next step. Honestly, will not regret it. There's so much goodness on the other side. So I love you all, sending you so much love, and I will see you in the next video.